Coming up on This Week in Torrance.
If you missed the 2019 Tournament of Roses Parade, we will take you behind the scenes of the award-winning Torrance float.
Then a new dessert spot will satisfy your taste buds with its unique creations.
Plus, if you're looking to give back, your community service could be part of a bigger movement happening right here in Torrance.
And one restaurant in Torrance is taking part in a biannual event that will make you hungry. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain.
And I'm Jin Chun. Thanks so much for joining us. Here are your top stories.
You can give back this month while being a part of a bigger campaign called Torrance Serves. City officials hope people will step up to pledge community service hours totaling 100,000 hours. Coinciding with Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, it also honors the service leaders of the past, present, and empowers the community to bring volunteers together for service projects. There are 3 events happening on January 19th where you can participate, or you can complete a community service project or perform a random act of kindness on your own during January. Go to torranceca.gov/serve to find out ways you can post on social media to show your participation while encouraging others to take part. The movement was spearheaded by Councilman Milton S. Herring, who requested staff to develop a city-sponsored program to honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Head to torranceca.gov/serve to sign up.
Volunteers are needed to assist with the annual Greater Los Angeles Homeless Count. The City of Torrance will participate on Wednesday, January 23rd, in partnership with the Torrance Police Department, South Bay Coalition to End Homelessness, and Family Promise of South Bay to recruit and train volunteers to count all census tracts in the city. Now, the count allows officials to ensure resources are made available and distributed to those in need. You must be 18 years old to participate out in the field. Torrance City Council approved the Social Services Commission to opt in as a host of a deployment site this year. Now, to sign up, go to theycountwillyou.org/Torrance_count.
Commuters traveling on the Metro Green Line, your commute might be affected. The Los Angeles Metro notified Torrance Transit that construction of the Crenshaw LAX Transit project is underway. It affects rail service stations on the Metro Green Line between Crenshaw and Redondo Beach stations, which will be shut down through January 20th. The stations you see on the screen are the specific ones where rail service will be suspended. A free Green Line bus shuttle will be provided to serve the closed stations, and it will run to match the existing Green Line frequencies. Also, bus bays and park ride lots will remain open at all the stations as well. Service on Torrance Transit 5, 8, and 10 will not be affected by the closure. Crews are currently laying the foundation and making connections for the future. You can find information regarding the closures and shuttle bus schedule at metro.net.
Well, thanks to volunteers and the community, the Torrance Salvation Army's Red Kettle Campaign was a huge success. More than $77,000 was raised this year. For the first time, they kicked off the mission through a special ribbon-cutting ceremony. People volunteered from November 23rd through December 24th to raise money to support the local Salvation Army services. Red Kettle Campaign is the oldest annual charitable fundraiser of its kind in the United States. The Torrance Salvation Army provides year-round services in the communities of Torrance, Wilmington, Carson, Harbor City, and Lomita. For more information, go to torrancecorps.org.
Officials from the Pediatric Therapy Network announced in 2019 they will be able to serve more families. The organization thanked the generous support from the community as they are able to now expand its clinic footprint and grow its ability to care for diverse needs. The expansion will shorten the wait list and reach 600 more families each year. The Pediatric Therapy Network helps children with special needs and medical conditions by providing therapies that increase each child's abilities so that he or she can live a more fulfilling and independent life. PTN serves children of all abilities and ages, including those with autism spectrum disorders, learning disabilities, developmental delays, and other challenges. Annually, PTN dedicated more than 150,000 hours to children. To learn more, head to Pediatric Therapy Network.org.
A new local park attraction is closed for the next 2 months. The splash pad at Wilson Park will not be available for use until April 1st when it reopens. During the closure, officials say the restroom will remain open from 9 a.m. to dusk, and they will be running the splash pad filter systems in order to exercise spray valves on a weekly basis. There is signage posted at the site about the closure. The splash pad is a recirculating system that has a 3,000-gallon tank underground. It uses chemicals to maintain water quality along with UV technology.
Nancy Clinton, a revered flight instructor and attendant at the Torrance Municipal Airport, is remembered. Nancy Clinton passed away on December 16th. She was a familiar face at the Torrance Airport. Clinton was a flight instructor at Zamperini Field for nearly 30 years and served as the president of the Torrance Airfare Association. As a member of the association, Clinton helped organize the annual airfare that educated the public and showcased the airport. She was known to always take into account the safety of others while they attended the event. She coordinated aircraft displays, flyovers, volunteers, and entertainment for these events. The memorial service for Clinton, known by some as the First Lady of the airport, was held on January 10th.
Well, from Decoration Day to a first look on Officials Night, we'll give you a closer look at the Torrance Rose Float.
Plus, Honda and a local organization teamed up for the 28th year to bring holiday joy.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children. She didn't know what to do.
Did you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.
There you go.
And kissed them all soundly.
Night-night.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
For another year, the Torrance Rose Float made a big impression, but it wouldn't have been possible without the hundreds of hours put in by volunteers to make the float come to life. During Dry Decoration Week, volunteers paid close attention to detail as they placed various materials on the float, working around the clock. Once this was done, the next step would be placing fresh flowers on the float. Onion seeds, poppy seeds, seaweed, golden straw flowers, crushed sweet rice were few of the resources used to create the power of music design that captured the theme Melody of Life. Flowers used were primarily princess pink roses, orchids, gold, and strawberry petals. The most delicate were flowers such as roses, which were placed in individual vials of water and placed on the float one by one. Many of the decorators return every year and have made it a tradition with loved ones to come back to create a masterpiece they are so proud of.
My bucket list has always been to decorate a float. Years and years and years I've always wanted to decorate a float. And because I do trees for Torrance Memorial's Festival of the Trees, the opportunity came up, so I snatched it. It's a very exciting thing to do. It's just something I've always wanted to do.
It's for the community, and to see this float go down the Rose Colorado Boulevard, it makes you feel like you have really accomplished something for the city of Torrance, because it is really a very, very special event.
So they have a cup of flower petals and they're just cutting it maybe like 40 minutes per cup to get it fine enough, and then they refill and do it over and over again. So it's tedious, but there's no machine that could work to do it. So we just need that manpower.
The community loves it. Our volunteers just love it. We have people who come from out of state. We have people that move away and come back to help decorate. We have people who plan their vacation days around decorating. So we have a group of decorators that just really love it.
Well, what stands out about the Torrance float compared to others is the concept, once again, was created by a local high school student. The float was music heaven, with the base of the float as a keyboard with a guitar, a drum, saxophone, and music cymbals. For the first time, it was also fitting to have a live band named Alenia perform on the float on New Year's Day. Each decorating shift had about 40 to 50 people. This year, the Torrance Rose Float brought home the Tournament Volunteer Trophy. The city's float has won in this category 7 times during its 64 years of participation.
And Ben, another tradition continued on the second decorating day, bringing city officials to Irwindale to get a sneak peek of the float. Torrance Transit buses loaded up as city officials and their families visited the Fiesta Floats facility to meet with volunteers and get a first look at the float. Now, every year, Officials Night takes place on December 28th. They're able to see Torrance Rose Float Association members and volunteers working hard by cutting, gluing, and covering every inch of the float with natural materials. Float concept curator Justin Kim from West High School was also in attendance during the evening with his family. For Councilman George Chen, it was his first time attending.
Those of us who's never seen how the work is done from the ground up, and it's good that Torrance has a float every year. I noticed that too.
I always hear from people from the East Coast, from the Southeast, and they contact me on New Year's Day, say, hey, I saw your float, Mayor. This is really fantastic. There's only so many cities that have floats in the parade, and it always puts Torrance on a pedestal. We're a little bit different because of all the different things we have, but this is one of those items you really have to be involved and volunteer for the Rose Float Association, donate to the Rose Float Association, keep this tradition on. This is our 64th year.
It's just a tremendous honor to be a part of this great tradition and to share the inspirations from Torrance all around the world.
Rose Parade officials say each year more than 80,000 service hours are accomplished by more than 935 volunteer members of the Tournament of Roses Association. The parade features 3 types of entries: floral decorated floats sponsored by a participating corporation or community organization, equestrian units, and marching bands. The Torrance Rose Float Association dedicated its float to KTLA anchor Chris Burrows, who suddenly passed away on December 27th.
Just as volunteers put on the final touches, all the hard work was put to the test on Judging Day. The bell went off and the float was on the move as all of its parts came to life. 3 float judges examined the Torrance float, basing it on criteria including creative design, floral craftsmanship, artistic merit, computerized animation, thematic interpretation, floral, color presentation, and dramatic impact. The highlight was the live performances by Alenia, who performed their original songs, which they hoped would impress the judges and millions on parade day. We got reaction from Torrance Rose Float Association members right after judging.
We did a fantastic job. The band was so energetic, and all our work so beautiful, so beautiful.
My favorite part, I think, is the music man, the big music man up there. It moves, and so as far as visually on the float, I think it's going to be very exciting to see it move.
And I've been fortunate enough to work with the people of Torrance every year, and I just feel so grateful because of the sense of community and pride that people in Torrance have. Everybody, even to the smallest detail of gluing on one bean, they're so proud and they do it so good.
There were 46 floats judged, and the best 24 floats were chosen. And for the band, it was a moment they will never forget, playing on the float for the first time.
That moment that the thing started moving behind me. First of all, I had no clue that was going to be moving behind me. So that was a surprise. And definitely the moment of where I had to hit the first strum, or I had to tell Lance over here to count me in, was kind of nerve-wracking because I don't know, I've never done something this big, and I know there's a lot of pressure, but the thing is, I feel like we all feed off of pressure and anxiety and make it into something good.
Banners for each award-winning float was carried in front of it during the parade. The Tournament Volunteer Award, given to the City of Torrance, recognizes the most outstanding floral presentation of the Rose Parade theme among floats 35 feet and under in length.
And as the Alinea Band got ready for their big day, we met with them during rehearsals, who are alums of Torrance and PV high schools. They're an indie alternative rock band that were chosen by the Torrance Rosefloat Association during its Battle for the Band contest. Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Danny Miskell has this story.
We're Alinea. We're going to be performing in the 2019 Rose Parade on the Torrance float.
The City of Torrance chose the theme of the power of music as this year's float concept. They're adding a live band to bring it all to life.
I think their message that they're trying to bring forward is very much like, look how much influence music has on our world.
Alinea means a new train of thought, and that's exactly what Torrance is bringing to this year's Rose Parade. No air guitars, no lip syncing. Alinea will be the first band to ever play a live set on a float in the parade.
It's really cool just to be doing like such a big thing with like my best friends. Yeah, it's kind of like our job, but like I'm just having so much fun doing it at the same time.
Meet John, Ben, Lance, and Shannon. And they've played shows at the Whiskey A Go-Go, Pollywog Concerts in the Park, but the Rose Parade will be their biggest gig yet. So how did they get the gig anyways? Well, they had to audition before the City of Torrance and the Torrance Float Committee.
We thought we nailed it. All of a sudden, we get off the stage, we watched the Emerald Street. They were unbelievably talented musicians, and we immediately started thinking like, okay, we lost.
But then, they got the email they weren't expecting at all.
I think I was in a guitar center, and all of a sudden my dad said I got an email, and you got to read this.
Alinea found out that they will be performing front and center on Torrance's float, which means they got right to work.
The Rose Float had us go up there and we got to check out the float and see it while it was being built. But we got to set up all our gear, wired everything, and got to play for a little bit and play our songs in front of the committee and kind of just have them check us out. We got to get used to being on the float, and so it's not just going to be completely fresh when we're there.
Originally, Alinea was asked to do a cover of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, but then the City of Torrance and the Torrance Float Association heard this original track of theirs, and it was a game changer. So let's go ahead and check out this song that Alinea will be performing on the float this year. It's called She Doesn't Get It. She doesn't get it, I can get it, I can get it, yeah. She Doesn't Get It is the band's newest single they just released. You'll be able to hear this catchy tune being played on the beautiful Torrance float in the New Year's Rose Parade.
Yeah, we're super excited. The Torrance Float Association has been a great group to work with. The Rose Parade, needless to say, has got so much clout. We're really honored to be able to do this, so it's a really exciting thing for all of us, me included.
Reporting from the Alinea Rehearsal Studio, I'm Danny Miskell for This Week in Torrance.
Thanks, Danny. Alinea actually recorded that single right here in Torrance at Suburban Soul Studios. For more information on the band, you can check them out online, Alinea the Band.
Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Danny Miskell was also out in Pasadena along with thousands who waited to see the beautiful floats make their debut.
A long-standing tradition continues for Torrance as it makes its 64th entry in the Rose Parade. And to add to its accolades, Torrance wins the Tournament Volunteer Trophy Award for having the most outstanding floral presentation of the Rose Parade this year.
I am very excited since we started at 10 o'clock last night, but we've actually been decorating all week. So the day after Christmas up until the 30th. So I've been with the float for the entire week and then all night. So yeah, it's a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement just to see it go down the boulevard.
The Volunteer Award highlights that the float was assembled with the harmonious camaraderie of volunteers from ages 13 to 90. Families like Melissa's are true pillars of the community as they continue their own family tradition to come every year and be a part of the volunteer team.
Well, for me, it's kind of a legacy. My whole family decorates. There's 2 generations working on the float during decorating week. So it's for us, it's a family event.
Torrance's float came together with over 5,000 flowers, 2,000 of them being pink roses to offset the green backdrop, and then white and red carnations, purple status flowers, golden straw flowers, yellow and green arrangements, and a lush trim of green garland, pine, water leaves, and huckleberry. The artist behind the float's creation this year was junior Justin Kim from West High School. It was the theme of music that inspired him to enter the contest in the first place, because music means so much to him.
Ever since I was a little kid, I've done like music-related things. I've learned the instruments, multiple instruments like piano and guitar, flutes, and all sorts of instruments. Wow. So it really connects to me.
Justin helped with making the little ornament pieces like these music notes. He mostly appreciated how the float was decorated with all natural ingredients, like crushed rice, coconut, poppy seeds, flax seeds, and everything that's black on the float is covered in seaweed. And to top it all off, the float added a live band at the hem to bring the Torrance Float Association's vision to life.
Now, we've been hearing a lot of music in the parade so far. I mean, there's been marching bands and wind ensembles and music coming through the stereos for the color garden dancers to dance to. But no float is like the Torrance float, and now we have the only live rock band performing on set. And the great thing is that this is Torrance's 130th entry for the Rose Parade. I think Torrance has set a new standard and raised the bar for special attractions on floats in the Rose Parade this year.
Torrance's float was 14th in the lineup and traveled down Colorado Boulevard behind this year's Grand Marshal, Shaka Khan. The float also included riders like the ladies from the Rose Float Association. Tammy Resnack is one of the members, and she looks forward to being a part of this tradition every year.
To be here part of that, part of all those years is just an honor. So we're thrilled. It's going to be amazing when we turn the corner on Colorado Boulevard and see all these people, yelling and cheering for our float and our riders.
Float riders waved with genuine smiles, and Alinea got the crowds on their feet, jumping and dancing as Torrance's float passed by. With the melody of life being this year's theme, goers of the parade took time to reflect on what that means to them in light of the new year.
The highs and the lows and just how it all blends together in harmony and brings everybody together, all the cultures together, all the different people from different parts of the world, and it's all one song.
Reporting from the 2019 Rose Parade, I'm Danny Miskell for This Week in Torrance.
Thanks, Danny. You can rewatch our coverage on Torrance CitiCable's YouTube page.
Well, a tradition to give back kicked off just in time to help families in need during the Christmas holiday. The Sharing is Caring luncheon allowed families to enjoy a delicious holiday meal by the Torrance Marriott Redondo Beach. Each guest was treated to a restaurant-style meal served by Honda Community Action Team volunteers, feeding more than 700 people. This year, the event included a toy giveaway, a meal, activities for the kids, and a photo op with good old St. Nick.
Somebody during this year has had a need in their life, and so that they've needed to utilize the services of the Salvation Army. And so this is really providing hope to people that need it. It's providing joy to people that need to know that they're loved, they're appreciated, they're supported, and they're not alone.
Honda really believes in being part of the community, very active. So we have about 100 of our associates here taking the day off of work to volunteer to serve those that need in the community. And so it's really the entire service is all by Honda associates, all volunteering their time.
It's important to me because I could do something back to the community. I myself personally is very grateful for what the community gave me, offered me, on my education, my jobs. So it's time for me to do a little thing for the community.
The partnership between the Salvation Army and American Honda came about 28 years ago when someone broke into the Salvation Army warehouse and stole toys. When American Honda found out about the situation, they lended a helping hand. Salvation Army officials say serving a meal and connecting with people is just one part of their bigger mission. Now, on a separate note, during the holiday season, Salvation Army served toys and food to 527 families.
You can add one more business to the list of places that will satisfy your sweet tooth here in Torrance, but this one is different. From milkshakes, rolled ice cream, to more extravagant treats such as the Wafflesaurus Rex, Sweetasaurus is serving patrons at the Dalamo Fashion Center. The new location is the second in existence. The store also offers their signature creations along with a make-your-own menu where you can customize your sweet desserts. The Wafflesaurus Rex is inspired by Japanese taiyaki. Sweetasaur prides itself in unique creations with the highest quality ingredients.
It's like an experience, Ben. A highly anticipated week is around the corner. Dine LA Restaurant Week, a biannual dining event, offers special fixed-price menus at various restaurants across Los Angeles County. It begins on January 11th and runs through January 25th. One restaurant from Torrance is participating in the event. Popular eatery Gayukaku Japanese Barbecue, located at the Crossroads Shopping Center, is offering a special menu for lunch at $15 and $29 for dinner. Go to discoverlosangeles.com for more information.
Still ahead, upcoming events you won't want to miss.
We'll be back in just a minute.
Welcome back, everybody. Here are some upcoming events. The Torrance South Bay YMCA is hosting a free flu shot clinic on January 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. No registration is required. It's free. You can participate in one of Torrance Serves events happening on January 19th as part of the city's campaign to pledge 100,000 hours. They will take place at the Madrona Marsh Preserve and Nature Center, Torrance Beach, and the Torrance Certified Farmers Market. Also on January 19th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., you can stop by the Western Museum of Flight for its celebrity series that will feature the personal and remarkable accounts by war hero Bob Ruiz. And before we go, here's a sneak peek of the next Sports Desk with our newest anchor and producer, Leslie Robbins.
Leslie?
Thanks, Ben and Jin, and Happy New Year to you both. As you can see, we've got some new things brewing here at the Sports Desk. Coming up on the first show of 2019, Bishop Montgomery is, of course, in the headlines, from games to milestones, plus New Year's resolutions from local athletes. You won't want to miss it. Back to you, Ben and Jin.
Thanks, Leslie. Well, that does it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain.
And I'm Jin Chun. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.